Hi guys, it's me, Professor D, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. On this video, we're going to be going over the sexually transmitted infection, trichomoniasis. Now, before we get started, as always, I'm going to ask you to please support me and support this channel by liking this video, subscribing to my channel if you haven't done so already, and pressing that red notification button so you'll be notified every time a new video is released. Don't forget, guys, I'm now offering Next Generation NCLEX Booster/Prep. It's a 2-hour course where I go over the meat and potatoes of the most important things you need to know, the concepts you need to know, how to answer questions if you don't know how to answer questions, and the type of questions you should expect. So you guys can book a review with me now on my website at nexusnursinginstitute.com. Also, if you're currently in the program and you're kind of struggling in your classes, the next test you're about to take, you need to do really, really well, go ahead and check out the audio lessons I have available on my website. Again, nexusnursinginstitute.com. One more thing, don't forget, almost daily, you can find me covering a variety of different nursing topics on my other social media platforms, such as TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. All right, guys, let's get started. Trichomoniasis. This is very short. It's only about 10, 11 questions. Trichomoniasis is a sexually transmitted infection caused by a fungus, a virus, a bacteria, or a protozoan. What do you guys think? I see you guys on the live. Thank you. Protozoan, guys. It is lots of people think this is a bacterial infection, but it's actually not. It's a protozoan. A protozoan, that is a type of parasite. All right. So it's not a fungus. It's not a virus. It is a protozoal infection. I spelled that wrong, but ejaculation must occur for trichomoniasis to be transmitted. Is that true or is that false? Does ejaculation have to occur for trichomoniasis to be transmitted? False. Very good. The male does not have to ejaculate for it to be transmitted. Select all that apply. Who is at highest risk for trichomoniasis? Is it older women, younger women, people with multiple sexual partners, people who are celibate, HIV positive women, HIV positive men? Select all that apply. Who's at the highest risk? You guys are doing a great job on the live. Keep the answers going. Okay. The population that is highest risk for contracting trichomoniasis are older women, people who have multiple sexual partners, HIV positive women. And I put people with multiple sex partners, and that's true, but specifically women with multiple sexual partners. And I've said this before on, I think it was either a lecture or a Kahoot that I did. When it comes to sexually transmitted infections, those who are on the receiving end tend to be at higher risk. Okay. And if you know what I mean when I say receiving end before they flag my video. True or false? Affected men are usually symptomatic. Is this true or is this false? False. That is false. Affected men, usually they're asymptomatic. They don't have any symptoms. They're affected, they just don't have any symptoms. But here's the thing, when they are symptomatic, they have classic symptoms, and we're about to go over that next. True or false? Symptomatic men usually report painful urination, painful ejaculation, and urethral discharge. Do you think that's true, or do you think that's false? True. Like I said, men are usually asymptomatic, but when they are symptomatic, these are the classic signs you're going to see for trichomoniasis. It's going to hurt when they urinate, it's going to hurt when they ejaculate, and they'll have purulent discharge coming from the urethra. That urethral opening, I should say. Select all that applies. What are the common signs and symptoms found in affected women? Select all that apply. Painful urination, vaginal itching, painful intercourse, yellow-green discharge with a foul odor, strawberry appearance of the cervix, bleeding after intercourse. This is select all that apply. Okay, guys, let's talk about them. All of these are signs and symptoms of trichomoniasis in women. And someone on the live, I don't know who it was, but someone on the live said they chose everything except for strawberry appearance of the cervix. And guess what? Strawberry appearance of the cervix, that is your classic sign of trichomoniasis. The minute you hear strawberry cervix, that's the first thing you better be thinking of, trichomoniasis, instead of something like chlamydia or gonorrhea. That strawberry cervix is what should make you think of trichomoniasis, all of these. So it's going to hurt when they urinate. They're going to have vaginal itching. It's going to hurt during intercourse. It's going to hurt after intercourse. They're going to have yellow-green discharge, and it's going to smell disgusting. A very foul odor is going to come from down there. Their cervix is going to have a strawberry appearance. You know how the strawberry has all those, those little seeds, so it's red, but it has all those dots. That's what the cervix looks like. It's going to be reddened, and it's going to have all these white dots. It's going to have a strawberry appearance, and the patient's going to have bleeding after intercourse. You'll see all of these, and these are classic symptoms in the female patient with trichomoniasis. True or false? The preferred method to diagnose trichomoniasis is NAAT of vaginal, endocervical secretions, and urine. That NAAT, it's a long word. I can't even try to pronounce it, but it's a type of test. So is this true or is this false? Is this the preferred method? True, and I gave you guys a hint. If you looked at the picture, you'd see the swab. So they use that swab to swab, the vaginal area, the endocervical area, those secretions, even the urine, and to test it to see if it's positive. Select all that applies. The patient and their sexual partner or partners should be treated with blank or blank. Select all that applies. So you're going to choose two medications that you expect someone diagnosed with trichomoniasis to be treated with. What are the two medications you expect to be ordered? One of the two that you expect to be ordered. Seems like most of you guys know one of the medications. You don't know the other. Okay. Very good. These are two medications. And what's interesting is these are antifungal medications. So even though this is a protozoal disorder, remember protozoan, that's the type of parasite. To treat it, you do treat it with these two types of antifungals, your metronidazole and your tinidazole, okay? And notice most of your antifungals do end in the azole, all right? These two medications, the penicillin and erythromycin, those are antibiotics, so you'd give those for bacterial infections, but these are the two medications you expect to be ordered for the patient with trichomoniasis infection. Patients should be instructed to abstain from sexual intercourse for how many days after treatment? 7 days, 14 days, 21 days, or 28 days? Seven days. First of all, while they're getting treated, they should not have any sexual contact, right? And once they've completed their treatment, for a whole 7 days after completion of the treatment, they should abstain from sexual intercourse, sexual contact. True or false? Patients may still have sexual contact even if all partners have not completed the full course of treatment. Is that true or is that false? False. Very good. Most of you guys got this right. So everyone needs to complete their entire course, and everyone needs to wait 7 days after they've completed the entire course of treatment before they can resume any sexual contact. Because the rate of recurrence is very high, repeat testing blank months after treatment is recommended. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, or 4 months? It's the last question, guys. Knock it out with a bang. Okay, the correct answer is 3 months. The recurrence rate is very high. So 3 months after. Martina, I'm on a live. 3 months after the patient was initially treated, they should come back and be tested for recurrence. Also, something I didn't mention to you, when it comes to trichomoniasis, you have to do an interview with the patient and ask them who their sexual contacts were. And anyone that they've had sexual contact with within the past 60 days, they have to be treated. So they need to be notified and they have to be treated. When it comes to sexually transmitted infections, these are all reportable infections. These are reported straight from the state, and usually a lab does it. So you send off that swab and the lab tests it, and if it's positive, it goes straight to the state. And so it's important, you have to teach your patient, anyone that you've had sexual contact within the last 60 days, you need to notify them so they can be tested and treated accordingly. You guys did a great job. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought about this video, what you'd like to see me cover next, and also the format you'd like to see it in. Do you want it in question answer format? Do you like it in Zoom, or do you like it in my lecture format? So let me know what you guys thought. Don't forget, I've got audio lessons available and the Next Generation NCLEX Prep/Booster. You can book on my website, nexusnursinginstitute.com. All right, guys, you guys catch me on the next video.